Hello Sagittarius, this is Joe, and I'm going to do a love connection reading for you, August 15th to the 31st, 2020. This is all about a relationship status reading. So you might be married, dating, procreating, doing who knows what, but this is about a connection to somebody at some level, whether it be very serious or just very casual. This is an intuitive reading, so it's absolutely not going to be for everybody. It just possibly can't be, and I think we all understand that. And so if it's not, that's okay. There's always another message on another day that might be better for you. And also, you can check your moon, rising, and Venus signs, your placements, because that might actually ring a little bit more true for you in any case. So Sagittarius, we're going to see what's going on in your love life, your love connection. What is happening? Who knows? This could be about anything. You know, being an intuitive reading, I rely on the cards and an intuitive message inspired by spirit to bring forward a message that you need to hear, or hopefully want to hear, or get some clarity on something. So I'm not going to do a full spread. We're just going to explore for about 10 minutes or so and see what's going on. So you have the Six of Cups at the center of everything. And your recent past. The Six of Cups is in reverse. The Page of Pentacles is in reverse. I normally don't. You have the Devil in the near future. I normally don't read reversals in these types of settings, but I really felt like I should tonight for some reason. You have the Five of Swords really at the crux of this. We'll see what this is about. Interesting. Three of Wands. Five of Pentacles. Ooh, wow. This feels very heavy. Definitely very heavy. We're going to pull three for the outcome. Four of Cups reverse. Two of Wands reverse. Wow. Sagittarius, what is going on? The Hermit reverse. Well, you got a lot going on here. Seven of Cups. This is the big... This is the big picture to me. This is before August. This is after August. This is kind of the bigger theme. And so, like I said, I read cards intuitively first before I apply any meaning to them from the traditional meanings anyway. And I see the Seven of Cups here as being... I feel like you missed out, or you feel like you might have missed out on something. You had an opportunity maybe to choose happiness or to choose stability, and I feel like this is eating at you. This is very interesting. So we're going to explore this real quick and see what's going on. So you have the Six of Cups in reverse at the heart of everything, and I did say I felt like you feel like you might have missed out on something, that you were having to choose between happiness, like, you know, your heart being happy, or stability. And so there might have been this tug of war, and so you might have been looking at this feeling of stability or needing stability because you might have commitment to those around you other than yourself, like children or other people in your family. And so the Six of Cups in reverse, to me, I feel like you are feeling like you might have made the wrong decision or the wrong choice, whether you should stay in a relationship or not. And so the Six of Cups to me in reverse is a reflection of that dissatisfaction with your choice. And you know, again, the Seven of Cups to me was like having the opportunity to choose at one point. And maybe you committed to something, and I feel like there's this regret. Page of Pentacles in reverse. So that stability really hasn't panned out. And not only has the stability not panned out, but there really isn't a whole lot of happiness at the moment either. And I'm sorry, it feels very heavy. Definitely feels very heavy, because your challenge is the Five of Pentacles. So you have to make a decision, but you definitely are very much worried about how this is going to affect you in the big picture long term. And so you might be worried that you might be left without, or you might have to suffer, you know, through some things materially and even emotionally, depending on which path you choose. But I feel like you might feel like you're stuck. You're stuck. You might feel like you're damned if you do, damned if you don't, you know. It's one of those kind of heavy feelings. You know, you have the Five of Swords here. Again, Five of Swords is really, to me, is speaking to your shadow side. I think there's some things you got to let go. You don't need to carry all the swords. You don't need to carry everything here. I think to you, there's one truth. There's really one thing that you need to communicate. I think there's one thing you need to communicate, and that will kind of lessen the burden of this. Whatever it is that you feel like you haven't communicated, that you've been holding off on communicating or saying, I think that's definitely what you need to do, because at this point, the best outcome for things, the Three of Wands in reverse, this is not having a whole lot of hope for change. And you're not going to have hope for change, I don't think, unless you're willing and able to, you know, communicate from the heart and the mind. So whatever is going on here, Sagittarius, this is very heavy. This wasn't expecting this. This kind of makes me feel a little down here. You have the devil in the near future, and I think that this to me represents a toxic connection, and maybe you went against your gut, your intuition, when you decided to commit to this person. And this committal could be way back. This doesn't have to be a recent committal to a relationship. This could go way back. This could go sometime back. You might be looking back with the Seven of Cups, thinking way back when, I could have chose happiness, or I could have chose some stability. And you thought maybe you were choosing stability, or maybe you thought you were choosing happiness. I don't know. That's for you to decide here, or that's something only you would know. But whatever you chose, maybe you thought you were choosing both, but whatever you chose, it didn't pan out how you want. So this is very kind of like, it's getting to the point where it's toxic. We're going to clarify with some more cards, but you have the Four of Cups. You have a lot of cups in reverse here. The Four of Cups in reverse is like just being to the point where you're unable to dream for a better future. Like you're just stuck. You feel very heavy. You're unable to see a better vision for your future. And you have the Two of Wands in reverse. Again, not even being able to formulate something that gives you hope and something to pursue. So this is definitely feeling very stuck. And the Hermit is in reverse, Sagittarius. So even the Hermit's in the reverse. I think this is really saying that you might struggle with really seeing the truth, or really seeing things for what they are. Maybe you have not allowed yourself to see things for what they are for a real long time. And so this to me is almost like saying, the Hermit is saying you need to turn this around. You need to really evaluate and maybe wake up to some harsh truths about this relationship, about how things have been going. This is probably a very long-term situation. I feel like there's children, there's family, there's ties between people. People are connected together, and but nonetheless, there's this feeling of like things have become very toxic, and there's this feeling that you might have this fear of letting go of that. Because the Five of Pentacles is crossing you. It's in your challenge, and you might be afraid of the fallout. So this feels very stuck. This feels very worrisome. But what happens if Sagittarius, this is what I want to know. Five of Swords. I feel like there's just one thing that needs to be communicated, whatever that is, whether it's what you want for yourself, what you've really been thinking about doing, but you don't have the courage to do. Whatever it is, what happens if Sagittarius really takes that sword, and only that one sword, and uses that to move forward? So whatever it is you've been holding back, because to me I feel like this is really holding back one thing that is very important, that needs to be heard, whether, you know, it could be any number of things. I mean, relationships are so complicated sometimes, and everybody's is different, dynamics are different, but there's got to be one thing that you probably, Sagittarius, haven't been communicating. You haven't been allowing yourself to communicate. And so this is about releasing that to me. I feel like there's this thing that you got to say, you got to get it over with, whether if it's you wanting out, whether it's you wanting something to change, something's got to stop, something's got to end, whatever that is, whether it's staying in this situation but trying to turn things around, who knows? So we have 2 cards out, we have 3. And we're going to see what these, oh, we actually have 4. You have the Ten of Swords. You have the Ten of Cups reverse. You have Judgment reverse. And you have the Fool. Okay, so I did say there's one thing you got to communicate. There's one thing you got to communicate. Whatever that is, you have to be willing to do it. If you do it, there's a few things how this plays out. You have the Ten of Swords, so it's going to hurt. It might hurt the person you're communicating to more than it's going to hurt you. But it puts an end, because this is an ending to that. So this might not be necessarily ending to this relationship, but it's an end, or it's an end to the problem that's been plaguing you. The feeling of that toxic feeling, or that really just that conflict, that dissatisfaction. There's something going on that is really dragging this down and weighing it down very heavily. And so this Ten of Swords, you communicate. That starts the beginning of the end. Then you have the Ten of Cups in reverse. And so I think that this is, you know, the Ten of Cups is about that family, that home, that relationship, that life that you've always dreamed of, that life that you want. And again, I feel like there's children involved. But I think that this, to me, puts the ball in the other person's court, because you've been holding back. And so the Ten of Cups, things are up in the air. Judgment in reverse. Somebody's got to make a decision. Somebody has to evaluate things. And I think that this is you calling your person out and telling them that they need to wake up, that they need to evaluate this relationship, what they really want out of this relationship. What is it that, why are they in this? And I feel like somebody's got to make some changes, and that isn't necessarily you. But I think there's something that has been really bothering you for a long time, and you've been holding back. And so I think you have to speak some truth. Whatever happens in the outcome of this, what this does is sparks that new beginning. You have the Fool here in the outcome. So however this plays out, because this might resonate for some of you, it might resonate for a lot of you, it might only resonate with one of you, whomever. There's a number of ways this can play out, but I think the Ten of Cups being the reverse, it kind of throws this really up in the air, upside down. There isn't a certainty of how things are going to turn out, and the Judgment card being in the reverse. Somebody has to make up their mind. Somebody has to make a decision and move forward. And so I think that Judgment in reverse is really, that decision is out of your hands at this point. It's up to your person to really decide what direction you're going to move in. But nonetheless, this does take you to a new beginning. This does take you to a new start. So this might be a new start in your relationship. This might be going to counseling, therapy. This might be a complete and total separation of things. Who knows? But this is all about that new start. And this is all about really being able to I think be your own person finally, because I feel like this is about some kind of captivity and something that's been very negative and hard. So Sagittarius, I'm going to end it here. I'm going to say this is an interesting reading. Feels very heavy. I don't like heavy readings, but I don't hold back. I say things how I feel like they need to be said. So we're going to pull one of these. Look at that. See, this is why I love doing cards, tarot cards, oracle cards. Anything and everything is just so connected and amazing. But you have chaos and conflict here. And this is what we're talking about, chaos and conflict. So this is, to me, is pointing to the fact that maybe there's been some denial of being in the chaos and conflict. There's been denial for a long period of time that chaos and conflict is indeed very much a part of your situation right now. And I think this is calling attention to saying it's time to put an end to that chaos and conflict. It's time to let it go. It's time to do something about it, because eventually things get so toxic to something really troubling usually happens. And I think this is saying to avoid that. This is really avoid the big unhappy ending. Pay attention to the chaos and conflict. Do something about it one way or the other. We're going to pull one more though. I feel like there's one more message for you probably here. And we'll end it here, Sagittarius. So we are almost wrapped up. Time for a nap. So self-care. I think that maybe you've been so wrapped up in the chaos and conflict you haven't had a whole lot of time for self-care. Taking a nap is really all about recharging yourself. So I think that this isn't literally saying to take a nap, but this is really saying that some self-care, some time apart, some time alone, some time to recharge, meditation, prayer, reading a book, disconnecting from things entirely in short intervals, allowing yourself that time that's just for you, to help you really get your thoughts together, and to really also sometimes to just disconnect from the whole thinking of everything. So Sagittarius, that's your reading. I'm going to say that, I know, like I said, it's pretty heavy, and I'm sorry, but you have a great new beginning coming. There's something very new coming, but you just got to speak what you've been holding back for a long time. Put all those other swords and daggers down. Just speak the one thing that you know is true, that needs to be heard. And I think you'll be okay. I think you'll get through the chaos and conflict. Sagittarius, have a great rest of your day, and I'll talk to you again. Thank you.